Hello and welcome back to Gen X to Z. I'm your host Migs, and with my dad,
Hello everyone, it's Generation
X to Z.
to Z. Yeah, great. And I'm Phil. I'm the father.
Ah, yes, and I
am your father.
It's okay. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be talking more about anime, but this time we're going to delve into a bit of more of a niche thing within that category. So,
Well, I don't think it's, I would say niche, but yes, theme.
yeah, theme basically.
Okay, so today we are going to go into the sports.
Yeah, we're talking about sports anime today, this week, and Dad does actually have a list of all the things that, well, he's apparently seen or at least remembered throughout his childhood.
Even though last time we said I was gonna wing it completely and play on my memory, it was never gonna work. So let's put it this way: the target audience that he speaks English and he grew up in Italy, so you remember all of the Italian names, I think is quite small.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so we need to find a way that we can communicate in a way and for everyone to understand what we're talking about.
Okay, but before we get into the list, I want to mention, why do you think like sports and anime has become like so juvenile as a formula that has been growing popular throughout anime as a whole? Because like even to this day, like sports anime has been like a very like steady incoming like theme that has been beloved by audiences throughout the decades.
Yeah, but I don't think what you are looking at is correct in the way that is not just the anime.
Yeah.
It's in everyday life.
Well,
It's part of the culture, yes.
well, yeah, but like the thing is, compared to like other medium, you rarely tend to see like sports like as a genre be categorized as like let's say like a drama, or I mean sure you can technically like impose like sports into it, but
Yeah.
but overall like when you have like let's say a film that's centered around football, like you're mostly like focusing like on the characters and not necessarily like the matches themselves, whereas in anime it's all about the matches.
Yeah, because you can make it absolutely over the top.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
in reality, obviously, you cannot do that.
Well, yeah, but-
Or at least no one has ever tried to do a fantasy sport film.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
They have done Mortal Kombat, yeah, but there's not a sport. Yeah, it's more based on a video game.
Yeah, plus it's more martial arts kind.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I don't really think counts. Like, can you?
No, but I'm talking about fantasy, so being over the top, being unrealistic.
Well, yeah, like basically having superpowers in a football
Exactly,
match, for example.
exactly. That is probably the first one that we are talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really.
Oli and Benji, or for the rest of the war, Captain.
Tsubasa.
Yes, Captain Tsubasa.
So I was right.
You were right. Yes.
Oh, okay. In the last podcast, yeah. So I thought that it was Captain Tsubasa, but in Italy they named it Oliver and Benji for some reason.
Well, because the main character they are being renamed Holly.
Oli and Benji.
And Benji.
Oh, okay.
And
I
Benjamin.
see.
So Benjamin was the goalkeeper,
Yeah.
and Oliver was the main character, the hero,
like
Captain
all around the
Tsubasa.
world is Tsubasa. Yeah.
Well, no, 100%. I believe in Spain as well is Oli and Benji.
Yeah, because I believe they aired that with the same name.
Yeah, and I did discover in my quick research today the reason why is because Mediaset had the rights. So basically, from Europe, and Mediaset is an Italian television company. Everyone will know Silvio Berlusconi. He was the owner of it, and he also distributed. He's not the TV station doesn't only exist in Italy; it also exists in France and in Spain. So basically, they own the right to the three countries.
I see. Okay. Well, so for what you've at least remembered, like in seeing in Captain Tsubasa, like let's just call it that, because I think for the audience it makes more sense worldwide. So yeah, what did you think about it actually? Like, because I believe it was one of the sports and manga that actually remained as one of the most influential to this day.
Yes, it's true, and probably. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Probably if I look at it, if I rewatch it today, I will find it completely absurd. Because I remember there were entire episodes, there were only one scene.
Oh yeah, no, that tends to happen. I mean, obviously, you're just basically talking about like the early, during the early period of anime, before streaming occurred, where obviously where anime scenes gets dragged out for no reason, simply because
Well, actually, there is a reason. Again, I do apologize with the audience. We would say that I was gonna wing it, but obviously it's impossible. And exactly when we were talking about this particular anime, I found out that the reason why it was to fill the gap because the manga did not exist yet.
Yeah. Wait, it didn't as a whole?
No, as an episode. So. The anime at one point it catch up with the release of the manga, so it was stuck. There was no story.
Okay, that's the thing. That has been a common occurrence, for many, including even the biggest anime that we know, like Naruto, One Piece. They are completely most anime fans hated that. Whenever something catches up to the manga and they have to get droused in filler and whatnot.
Exactly.
And of course there's obviously the pacing is just obviously they don't do it anymore today, which thank God for that.
Yeah, because the whole concept of how they are released has changed.
Well, yeah,
it will be released when it's ready.
I mean, back then it was mostly serialized, but now it's just seasonal.
Exactly. Back then it was coming one episode every week, and the week don't stop. There is one week after the other. You need to carry on.
The only serialized anime that's still ongoing to this day is One Piece, actually. Well, yeah, but actually, they actually stopped, because right now they're actually re-airing, a remastered version of one of their earlier arcs, which is good, because I feel like the manga itself was already at a point where it's starting to hit its climax, and the anime was starting to catch up to it. But yeah, well, we're not here to talk about One Piece, because...
it would be in a separate episode, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, so you're just moving on. So is there anything else you want to share?
There is another anime about football. Yeah, obviously none of them is as popular, but even in that.
Do you know Captain Tsubasa has a remake?
No,
because it does. No, there is one actually, or I think it does.
But so is a new story, or is the same story that's been read?
No, it's basically the new story, but with basically like you mentioned, with a fresh coat of paint, and as well as not having to deal with the pacing issues and whatnot. Which
are they gonna keep the sphere of the Earth? With the long shots.
I mean, I haven't seen it myself personally, so...
Okay, yeah, because there is the one part that I remember more as a child, and obviously as an adult I will find it absolutely stupid. But as a child, it was completely entertaining, and the idea of the size of the football pitch, it was taken to extreme. Yeah, it was so big that the curvature of the Earth, it was visible. So you were able to see the goalpost coming up from the horizon.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is not real.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, here's the thing I want to tell you, because usually when it comes to anime, you always have to have a very mid to high tier suspension of disbelief, because no matter how realistic or how absurd it gets, you have to keep your span disbelief up to a certain level, because otherwise you can't really exactly take it seriously, because let's face it, most anime, if they were in real life, you can't take them seriously at all. It would just look wacky and such. And actually, now that I think about it, there is another football anime that is very recent, it has sort of an over the top premise, but again, it kind of also makes itself grounded with the rules of football. So there's this anime called a Blue Lock, which is Blue Lock, so it is a football anime, but it's kind of centered around it's sort of like a death game, but more like an elimination type game, where it's all about the players, specifically in the striker's position, who are set
like a dodgeball game.
Well, no, it's all about,
because believe me, there was I don't remember the name. I remember probably seeing it once, but there was anime in the 80s
Yeah.
about dodgeball.
Oh yeah, I believe. What's it called?
No idea.
You don't have any on your list.
I don't have it on my list. I barely remember, but I just know it was there.
Okay, moving on with Blue Lock. So yeah, it's basically like a set of like games. Well, not games per se, but more like like centered around football, obviously, where you have strikers who who either like pair up with each other or face off against like in a 3-on-3 matches, etc. Like there's many types of rules that like different kinds of scenarios where like each strikers get partake in because or otherwise they risk getting eliminated because
So it's like basically like a video game.
well, not just that, but if they're eliminated, like they don't ever get the chance to like partake in football as a professional. Like that's basically the stakes of the game of Blue Lock essentially. And from what I've read or like at least seen in the anime, it's really actually pretty thrilling actually. Like it's all about like the whole idea of like having a striker as the number one most important position in football overall, and the fact that it takes the ego
Well, I think I don't know much about football, but I think what you just said shows how little both of us knows about football. I'm pretty sure that the striker, it is the one that is like the main lead singer of a rock band.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
But he can do shit without the rest of the team.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of. That's kind of like one of like my biggest like gripes with the show. But even then, like even when you're watching, you can't help but like you get on your edge of your seat as like as like the main character tries to like find like strategize throughout his the circumstances on how he overcomes them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I mean, like there is kind of like a divisive like between like whether the manga is better or not, but in any case, yeah, it's a Blue Lock. I would say is right now one of the most like well-known anime when you talk about like recent sports anime.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
21st century.
That's just all I have to say at the moment.
Okay.
So.
Closing on with the football, there was another. Actually, there were at least another 5 football theme anime.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was another one that it was Palla al centro per Rudy, or the Japanese is Gambare Kakatsu.
Gambare Kakatsu, I believe.
But anyway, funny story, really quickly because it wasn't that great anyway. For the Italian market, they come out. It was completely made up that the main character he did in the early part of his life play with Holly, or at least in the same school or team.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is completely made up for the Italian market.
Oh.
Yeah,
wait,
it's not.
Who's Holly?
Holly and Benji. Captain.
Okay. So, no, I just got confused for a sec. So wait, is it meant is it like a crossover? Or something?
No, it's not a crossover when it was produced in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah? It became a crossover as a reference because it was living in the shade
of Oliver and Benji.
Exactly.
Wow. So like Oliver and Benji, or I guess Captain Tsubasa, like I guess it really did like shook the world, with how I guess you could say like intriguing, like how you can it showcased in the anime form,
Exactly. And it was basically anyone they will be in the shadow, he will have a big advantage. But it didn't work out anyway. So.
Well, okay, before we close out on the football theme, I did want to mention, remember, there was this game series, or I guess it's kind of like a multimedia kind of thing. Do you remember Inazuma 11?
No.
No, okay, well, no, Inazuma, okay, actually, no. Inazuma 11, it's not actually, it didn't come out in your time, just letting you know. But I thought that there was like a game series that I really got into, like Inazuma 11, which is basically, it's mostly like it is anime themed. Like it's basically like think of it as like an a role-playing game, but with instead of like a typical like fantasy, it's say with football players essentially. And what you have is like you got your set of players, you know, in different positions, and you even got like, you know, special moves in which to strategize, and how when you come across face to face with an opponent player, you select that special move and see how if it can, you know, overcome, you know, the opposing player, and even like with shoots in the goal as well, which is I mean, it's interesting, just letting you know. But yeah, it is interesting as a whole of how sports, like anime, managed to like take sports and turn them into like this whole different kind of like this concept of how it originally like makes it seem like a boring concept at first, but manages to turn it into something, you know, more exciting, you know. And I think it mostly had to do with like the way they handle metaphors in sports, you know.
Yes, of course, but now that we go onwards, we are gonna see there are other interests in the whole idea. Yes, because now we are moving to volleyball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you know, actually, speaking of volleyball, there is actually a sports anime that is what I actually consider one of my favorites that's centered around volleyball. It's called Haikyuu.
IQ.
Yeah.
Tell me the story about him.
Okay, so it's about a middle schooler in Japan, basically, who participated in a tournament for the very first time. Like he has no inexperience in volleyball.
But is a female character or
no male?
Okay, because in my time, even though we are gonna explain why it was so important in Italy in a minute, but it was all of them female characters.
Really?
Yeah, there was three series actually. One started in the 70s, then in the 80s and 90s, and then more recently, even in 2008, they was basically restarted as a Chinese-Japanese.
Really?
And it was all about volleyball, but is really regional interest in this, meaning that it is a massive sport in Italy, volleyball.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing, because I would, even in your country, like even when you have already moved out, I would say that Haikyuu would still be popular in there.
Oh, yeah. If it's about volleyball, it doesn't matter if it's a female or male. Both in the discipline in both areas are major world players. Pretty sure, and we are not talking about the Olympics here, but so everything I quote about is probably wrong. But I do believe that at least the female team has won the gold medal in Paris. Just the last summer, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the Italian volleyball team are being at the top level for the last 30 years or more.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So yeah, so moving on with the summary, summarizing Haikyuu. So basically, so the main character, who, let me remind you, has no experience in volleyball. This is literally his first time partaking in a tournament of volleyball, and he goes up, which is actually one of like the highest, you know, qualifying, like, you know, schools in terms of, you know, partaking in volleyball, and is centered around, like, you know, someone who's to consider like to be, you know, the king of the self-centered king, essentially. That's his nickname. And obviously, and they go to a match, and understandably he loses like miserably, like obvious. But then after that, so he declares to the self-centered king that he's going to be that by the time he.
Wait a second, it's a team game, so there are 6 players on a team.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because like again, okay, so what the difference between the Haikyuu and the as well as the other sports matches is that it doesn't necessarily, like, you know, rely on like the more over the top nature of when it comes to sports anime, but it still relies on metaphors. But I would say it's out of all the sports anime that has come out in the past few decades or so, I would say it's one of the most grounded, like, you know, feeling that type of sports anime, you know. And even then, you can, when you're watching the match, it's still like the excitement is on an upper level, you know. And and yeah, so essentially, but by the time when the main character goes on to, I guess, like, high school, high school, so he went, and when he takes part in the volleyball club, what he didn't realize is that the same like self-centered king that he goes up against is also in the same school,
so they play on the same team.
Yeah, basically.
Well, sorry to go back to Oliver and Benjen. But the two main characters, the story is pretty much the same. When they start, they are on opposite teams, and then eventually, when they move to the high school, they become one team. So they become from arch enemies to teammates.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much like the whole concept of Haikyuu, but also like it also like varies. Doesn't just focus on these two main characters specifically. It also widens out the rest of the teammates, of course.
Of course. But it's quite interesting what you say, because most of this anime about sports, they always start with a character in his early teens. Yeah, and it's like a progression into adulthood, into professional sport players. So none of them are about professional player from the beginning.
Yeah, like in their 20s. Like
or at the peak of his career. They're always starting from...
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, it is interesting, because, like, when you look at, like, Japanese culture as a whole, like, you can pretty much, like, determine how some of the most inspirational stories, to like I guess like tend to come from like when most people like professionals start from junior high or high school and whatnot, and how like what it's like to partake in extracurricular activities that makes you want to enjoy the notions of partaking in those.
Yeah, actually, we are gonna go back to what you just said and looking at it into a different perspective. Yeah. Right. So let's finish with the volleyball, because it's important that everybody needs to know the name. So the original series 70s and 80s was Mimi Ayuara, or is actually Ashia Ataka.
Shia Ataka.
Yeah. Or attack, something. I think basically is attack. Okay. The English version name or something like that.
Okay, well.
And then the one that came after is Mila and Shiro, so it was the two main character. And once again, it was called something like Attack or something like that.
Can you at least summarize it for me?
The two stories are quite similar. They are both of them based in preparation to go to the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah. I do believe the most recent one, Mila and Shiro, is the Seoul Olympics.
Okay.
Even though she starts as a teenager in the team, blah blah blah, then she became a professional, and then eventually, then Mila and Shiro, it was remade again for the Beijing Olympics, so in 2008. But then she will go. That's why the production is a joint production, Japan and China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it is kind of just veering off of sports anime as a whole. It is kind of interesting to see, because lately, I've actually been looking at like a kind of slew of a mix between Japanese and Chinese animation. Like hell, even to the point where there's even Chinese anime has been coming out as of late, and there might not be as many that are as most well known as Japanese anime today, but it's just something I want to maybe point out in let's say probably the next episode.
So probably when you do the same podcast, you are the father with your son in 20 years time or more, probably Chinese anime will be huge.
I think they call it Donghua.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, it's just something that just something to look out for. Potentially in the future podcast episodes.
Fantastic. I know there are probably gonna be many people say, "Oh no, we want to know more about Mila and Shiro," but we don't have enough time to go through.
Yeah, plus I'm pretty sure most of these said audiences are probably already in their late 30s or something like that.
Exactly, Generation X. Let's put it that way. So next one for me, we talk about this briefly in the last episode, but this anime was one of the funniest one, and probably the one that is more politically incorrect nowadays, and is Gigi La Trottola or Kanpai.
Kanpai, I believe. I think I've heard of this one. Wait, what's it about?
It's about what you were just mentioning before. Is a really short young man, is less than a meter tall. Yeah, that is excellent at all sports.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of the system of the Japanese high school, he needs to participate in one sport.
I see.
So it is not something that you choose. You have to do it. It's part of the curriculum. You have to choose one.
Yeah, so yeah, one sport.
One club. Yeah, and of all of them being only a meter tall, he choose basketball.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
But then there's all of the more comedic part of it, and also politically incorrect on for the Generation Z. There is superpower, like let's probably take inspired by the spinach of Popeye. Is the superpower is seeing white panties.
White underwear.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is kind of like it is. It is a comedy essentially.
It is a comedy, exactly, and there are many there are constant references to this superpower. So basically, you will understand. So is some really short young man. They needs to play basketball, and in order to excel at it, he needs the superpower. So basically, every episode there is a reference to the white underwear.
I see.
Yeah, and even his teammates talk about the white underwear as if it's a religion for him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of get that because, like, I mean, I don't want to get too specifics, but there is like this once an anime that does kind of have that same thing, but like it's not like a concept, mind you, but it is like part of their characterization, if I could call it. If you know, you know. So
exactly. But funny part on Kanpai, the enemy or the opponent has the same physical characteristic, and is the son of the principal called Tomato.
Okay.
And is basically needs pink underwear as a superpower.
Okay. How do you? Okay, do you actually remember these?
Yeah, I did remember that.
They must be really like emerge into your brain to actually.
Wow, so it was funny, and it's a constant reminder every episode. So anyway, so let's move on.
I mean, actually, no. Okay, speaking of basketball, actually, I think.
Oh yeah, of course you need to get into this one.
Okay, yeah, I think it would be a far cry for us to not mention, like, the one, anime, or I guess manga that is pretty much, like, defined, the sports category as a whole, which is, Slam Dunk, which by the time when it was coming out, like, there was like so many people that were talking about this one, and it's considered to be one of the best depiction of what it's like of making like a sports anime and manga.
And I have never seen it, and I know it exists because you mentioned it to me, but obviously it was past my time.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if I bet if you actually grew up in the 90s and read it, you would like love it to death.
We need to invite an Italian millennial next time.
Yeah. Well, no, or I could just invite my friend over for my uni days.
Exactly.
Because he's read Slam Dunk, and actually I have been as well. Actually, like I actually have 3 volumes right now, but I've been wanting to get more of it soon so I can read more of it because like from what I've heard it's amazing and from what I've read so far. Like, I mean, okay, the starting point of Slam Dunk, it's kind of a bit but then once you get to like when they get to the nationals tournament, that's when things start to get really hyped up, and from what I've heard, like Slam Dunk is basically one of these shows like doesn't just contribute like homage to like the many past sports anime that influences, but also from basketball as a whole, like.
So it's innovative, basically.
Well, yeah, and you can, from what you've read, from what I've heard, when you read from the more you progress the story, you can tell like how these characters like in the story get pays like homage to like certain famous basketball players. Like even though I don't know basketball or anything as of late, but there is like a very interesting video essay about how they talk about about how Slam Dunk as a whole, like, borrows like so many like novelties from the sport.
Oh, right. So basically, it was well researched.
I mean, yeah, it is. Like, I mean, hell, if you think about it, like many well-acclaimed sports anime are really well researched. Like, not just in like the methods of the sport itself, but also in how it directly ties into like the narrative and how it directly.
Yeah, but
The problem is, no, it's not a problem. And the fact they choose then to make it more fantasy or more over the top.
Okay, well, that's the thing. Slam Dunk is one of
quite realistic.
Yeah, Slam Dunk is but not just that. But even with the most grounded nature of the sport itself, like they still manage to keep it, very. Or very on the edge of your seat kind of thing.
Okay.
And I think that's what I really love about sports anime as a whole. Like, sure, I don't mind the overtop nature, but at times when things got to get real, it gets real.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, so I highly recommend you check out one of the the most well-known sports anime right now, like Hajime no Ippo. It's a boxing anime, and it really like goes to show of how they look into how the jabbing the sport works and all that, and it really like delves into the characters.
Well, it's actually quite interesting that you're mentioning the boxing. Because as we mentioned last time, we will do violent sport as a separate episode, and at the really beginning, we are going back to the late 70s.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
a Rocky Joe.
Okay, actually, no, there was do you know Ashita no Joe?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, no, I was just checking because there was everyone actually knows about the ending scene, where it has the spotlight on the main, where he dies. Oh yeah, that has been
Oh, come on, you spoil it for everyone.
Well, okay, and everyone knows about that. The instant they saw it, because it's been memed to death. It's been memed
Really? I
to.
didn't even know.
No. It's also been referenced in several other anime as well.
Oh.
It's that famous.
Well, as we said, and it was mentioned last time, I have never seen the last episode, the final episodes of any of the anime series. So,
Well, I'm sorry to ruin your day, but
so the spoiler, I was the only one.
Look, someone had to, okay? Someone had to because bro, have you the image, the meme image, it's been memed to death at this point. So if you didn't get it, then you would be spoiled inevitably.
I'm looking at the wrong memes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, moving on.
Moving on. So, next one is about golf.
Golf.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's put this one quickly. We got golf and fishing. Okay, the fishing one is Sanpei. There's no need to. It's just the name of the character. It doesn't in Italy, in Japan. It was just Sanpei. Yeah. And same premises of any other anime about sport.
Yeah, pretty much.
He starts for no reason. He discovered that he's amazing at fishing, and every week goes to a different place to try different technique, and he masters all of them every week, and he's the dog bollocks. Yeah. And then the other one is Ashita Binky or Banky.
Is that what is that?
It's about golf.
Oh, okay.
Once again, another story of a blue-collar guy, young man. He doesn't know anything about golf, and for a bet, he tried to drive like a 150-yard, pushed by his friends or peer pressure, whatever you want to put it, and he discovered that he's amazing.
Actually, sir, do you know any anime that's centered around American football?
No, I don't.
Okay, because there's actually a really famous one called Ice Shield 21. So it didn't obviously came out in your time. I believe it came out during the early 2000s.
Okay.
But yeah, what it's well known for is the art essentially. Like so it basically carries like all the the lovable tropes that you would see in a sports anime. You go like cast the characters
So
to
aesthetically is really nice.
I mean, yeah, like in terms of how like the they illustrate like the moves that are composed into the panels. I mean, the anime itself, like I mean, yeah,
The story.
Well, no, not the well, no, I mean, no, the story, like it is hyped as shit.
Oh.
Like it's but compared to the like I'm talking about the adaptation specifically.
But is this a Japanese American production or is just a Japanese?
No, it's just a Japanese production. It's basically just centered around the idea of American football. But I'm obviously what I've seen when you look at some of the panels that is drawn, like you can like tell like who made this? Like how is this possible? Like don't forget, Ice Shield is a weekly magazine.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, like on a weekly basis, like
And it never stops.
well, no, yeah, on the weekly. No. Okay, well, it has ended, obviously, but like, obviously, when you look at how the illustrations of Ice Shield 21, and think of like how the schedule has been like proclaimed into this, you would tend to think of yourself like, how is this man like not not died at this point? And believe it or not, so the illustrator, or I guess author of Ice Shield, he went on to do the art for One Punch Man, which if you don't know, you should really go watch it. It's a really good one. It's essentially about like a guy like set in the world of superheroes he was so unbelievably overpowered that he just knocks enemies down in just one punch.
Okay, so if you pay for a boxing match, you're not gonna get much out of it.
No, it's not really sports anime. It's more
yeah.
It's more of like it's more centered around like battle shonen kind of thing. But yeah, essentially, it's made by the same guy that illustrated. Well, no, it's illustrated by the same guy that did Ice Shield 21, and once you look at like the art, like it is just astounding, like the attention to detail and on these things. Like
that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Like, have you read any manga at all? Like,
not recently, since the last 30 years. I guess.
Well, you'll be surprised.
Funny story.
No, it's not funny at all. It's just an information.
Okay, well, just you'll be surprised at how well his manga artist has been.
Yeah, but
I need to point out that I consume anime, but the manga, or let's go, the comic culture in Italy is dominated by local comics.
Yeah, like Tintin, for example.
Yeah, like
or Asterix.
Or Asterix in Belgium. Yeah, Tintin. I grew up reading Dylan Dog. There is private investigator by the investigate about the supernatural, and the main character is actually based on a British actor called Rupert Everett. Yeah. So there is a whole culture of comics that are Italian produced, like Diabolic, and is another one. So, and there were a lot of American comics. The Japanese
like manga.
Manga is more recent. It started from the anime. And you will be funny that there are anime they are produced in the 80s, but the manga is not being released in Italy until the mid-20s.
It hasn't been distributed.
No, it probably is now, but we are talking about the noughties. So something that is already like 25 years old is been released.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of interesting to see how, like, the influence of anime, like, I guess in not just Italy, but I guess Europe as a whole it hasn't necessarily like eclipsed to that point of nature where it's as popular as it is in Japan, for instance. Mm-hmm. But I would say that I did get like the most regarded, well known. Like I mean, I guess aside apart from the US, particularly, like I don't know, like I did do like some research, but I kind of forgotten about how the distribution history was founded, and in Europe as a whole. But yeah, it is kind of complicated.
I think it will be really complicated because most likely in Europe is done independently, country by country, so it's not like a continent wide. Yeah, that there are gonna be certain corporations that they also will acquire things that are more relevant to their country. For example, there is a judo anime. Yeah, well, there are various judo anime, more than one, obviously. And also, on my research, I found there is now a new one that just coming out.
Is it what's the name?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Okay, because I do remember like one that did came out like not now, but like I think like a couple of years ago called Haramusa. No, I can't.
It probably is because it's the second season coming out now.
No, okay, well probably yeah.
But for example, this funnily enough is called Jenny again, like
Jenny,
like the tennis player, but it came out in France first, and France is big in judo.
Oh,
It's really, really big. It's like a national sport, judo. Even at the Olympics, I'm pretty sure one of the main character holding the torch
was French.
No, of course it was French, but he was a judo champion
Oh,
of all sports. Yeah. So judo in France is massive. So the first one to get in Europe, this anime about a girl that plays judo and then participate as a professional judoka, and it was France.
damn.
Yeah, and it's actually called Yavara.
Yabara. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yavara. There's the Japanese name. For us is Jenny.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty basic sounding name.
Yeah, especially taking into consideration there also another anime. There is Jenny, the tennis player, or for the English market, we just call Ace.
You know, there is like and I mean, speaking of tennis, like I think there is one that I haven't. Okay, just to let you know,
There is a new modern version of it. You're
tennis.
correct.
Do you know
on the notice?
Do you know the Prince of Tennis?
That's the one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
But that's from 2001.
Yeah, because I've actually like seen like in a scene of how like there was one time there was like a scene where one guy just decides to what was it called again, the something zone
I don't know.
when he basically
I know it exists, but I never was.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
it.
well, no, well, I just know because like there was a YouTuber like, well, that pretty much inspired me to start an AniTube, to become an AniTuber essentially. Where like if you know Gigok, he's the most popular AniTuber as you may know, surprise, and he basically he made a video about sports anime, and there was a scene where he talks about the Prince of Tennis, where he does like he took like a like not like super seriously, but like more like jokingly, like where he like does it describes a scene in which the main character like just like does like a move, and in which to like the ball like turns into a comet and becomes like a meteorite that strikes down the dinosaurs.
Well, we are going back to the one that we were talking before that I cannot remember the name. If anyone that is following does know the name, please let us know. About the dodgeball, that one was already also over the top. They were hitting the ball so hard they're creating craters in the gym floor.
Yeah. Oh, I got to share that video with you because it's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's finish with the tennis because we are going on and on about the tennis. And there's something that we mentioned last week. Jenny, the tennis player, or Ace, he had a second series that I discovered today in my research. I knew that it was created for the only released in the Italian market, but in other market it was never released as a TV program. It was only OVM.
Okay.
Yeah. So but we are going back to the 80s, 88, late 80s.
Yeah.
So basically, it was probably the first concept of like a streaming of a anime.
Really?
So it was only released an entire block on DVD.
Okay.
Oh no, on VHS in the 88. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, no. Oh, I just remembered something. Okay, so okay, I feel like are we?
Oh, and you know what? If before it was called Jenny, the second season, or let's call it the reload, it was called Jenny.
Okay, no, because now I'm just remembering something completely different. Like it's just okay. So, do you know that activity like in Japan where where girls like are in a pool in a platform and they have to knock each other out of the pool out of the platform with their butts? Do you know what that?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay, well, time to learn. I mean, okay. So there was an anime centered around that as a sports theme.
Okay, I didn't find it in my research.
I think it's called. No, it's recent.
Oh, yeah, that's why I didn't find it.
Yeah, I think it's
Wait a
called.
second, sorry, there's one pole or two poles?
No. So it's
It's a platform, sorry.
platform. Yeah, it's basically about like you got two girls standing and they have to knock each other out with just their buttocks.
Okay.
And there's essentially an anime that's centered around that theme as like a sports tournament kind of deal. And when you think about it, it is kind of ridiculous.
But it's, coming from Japan, I find it not ridiculous at all because growing up, not only with anime from Japan, but also with other programs from Japan that we show in Italy, like Takashi Castle and many other ones. Especially in late night, they always show the Japanese like sketch shows on really like spastic shows, and they're always over the top.
I mean, like this one in particular, like Keijo. So it normally does it normally entertains itself on it knows it's over the top, and it basically just goes like through with it throughout the whole show. Like it doesn't it's very like it's pretty campy when the more you view it, obviously, and the way it ends on like it manages partake in the standard formula of how like a sports anime is treated. Like it's like at the same it's entertaining, but at the same time is like it shouldn't it's not supposed to be, I think, because when you look at it, like when's the last time there's ever been like a national tournament about girls beating each other out of a
we don't know the sports in every country around the world, so
well anyway, here you go.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, if you're talking about sport, one of the really first one, and we are talking back to before me, so in the 70s, I actually don't remember ever seeing a single episode, but it was about baseball.
Baseball, oh yeah.
Yeah, Tommy or something. Yeah, Tommy. I don't know.
Is that a Japanese name or an Italian name?
No, I think it was that was just called Tommy. Tommy something. Well, I will find out for you. Don't worry. If anyone knows, you can tell.
There is another.
But
okay, moving on. Continue.
Probably you are thinking, oh yeah, baseball in United States. No, Japan.
Well, yeah, no.
Massive.
Well, yeah, I know. Baseball is huge in Japan.
Yeah. It's absolutely.
Yeah,
Probably,
yeah. It's one of the most common sports there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, well, I mean, I guess it makes sense when you look at the history of Japan as a whole and how Americans.
Well, they probably American introduced it after the Second World War, so that's the most likely.
I mean, yeah. But yeah. In any case, have you got anything else?
Oh yeah. We haven't finished yet because there is one about gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, it's called Hilary.
Okay.
The original one is Ikari.
I'm not sure if there's ever been like a recent one about gymnastics, but
no, it's not recent. This goes back to the 80s as well.
No, I know what you mean.
There are a few about motorsports. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Urosiko Makadoka. Makadoka is basically it's British or English name, mechanic and doctor. Makadoka.
I feel like we're just doing a checklist at this point because we're not exactly.
Well, we are basically in Finnish. Yeah, that was the last one.
Wait, that was it.
No, there was because we touched about the judo already. There was another one about judo. In Akapa Taisho.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I meant delve into a certain type of show, I mean how we Okay, I think it's probably high time that maybe you and I get to actually watch each other's shows from different generations. You get to see watch shows from my time. I get to see you watching it from yours. So that way we can actually see how we understand each other's tastes and whatnot.
Well. Taking in consideration, I don't think it's gonna be like in cinema, where in the 90s the story, it was the most important part because the limited availability of special effects, and so then the narrative was fundamental. But with anime. It shouldn't be the case, so it's gonna be more the style, but the story should not be affected by it.
That you say as if I've never seen a classic anime on my sofa before.
I don't know. I'm not always there with you. So.
I mean, okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, I think this marks the.
There was a long list. It was a bit confusing at time, but hey, we are talking freely here, so there is no really. Today was a bit more of research because there were too many subjects. But next week.
Honestly, I wish I could have done my research on this because while I have seen sports anime and some sports anime.
We are reversed the roles this week. I did the research and you're just winging it.
I mean, aside from you, I've actually caught up with the sports anime. That's the main difference.
Exactly.
But next week, I can only think of 3. Yes, violent sport anime.
Or actually, no. Maybe we should talk about martial arts anime.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one. Actually, there was.
Well, let's finish the sport ones then. The violent sport. We go Rocky Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, we go Tiger Man.
Baki. Do you know Baki?
No, I don't.
How do you not know Baki?
Which one is Baki?
Okay. So it's one of these.
It's not Judo Boy.
No. It is. It's essentially like a martial arts kind of thing. But like, bro, okay, the way they cover this is so insane that you wouldn't believe.
Which era is it?
It's okay. So it started from the 80s and it's just continued on from throughout to let's say the late 2000s.
Okay, so we keep it for next week then.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, so we go enough, but it's gonna be less titles, but a lot more in.
Yeah, people. Trust me, you would not believe, the insane premise. Well, not premise per se, but just what happens in Baki, throughout the times,
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we have talked for a long time today.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So, should we thank our audience?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, all three of them.
Yeah, in case you managed to watch the whole thing, if you managed to watch the whole thing through, then we thank you very much.
And until next week.
Yeah. Well, so this is Migs.
And this is Phil.
And we shall see you all next time.
Ciao.
Bye bye.